welcome again to Doug's Cars. Today I'm reviewing the fastest car in the world, the rental car. This, in all of its white and bird dirt glory, is the 2018 Nissan Altima SL. This is not a vehicle that I've reviewed before, but this is one of the best-selling vehicles in this country. They sell around 300,000 of these every year, with about 1/3 of the sales going to rental car lots. So this is something you very easily will come across in daily life, either on the street or next time you pick up a car at the airport. This is the top of the range SL model, so it's got all the bells and whistles minus the V6 engine. It has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with about 182 horsepower and a CVT, constantly variable transmission. So it's a chain driven transmission, does not have gears like a normal car has. Although I guess if they sell under 300,000 of these a year, it's a normal car. So I'm going to start here in the trunk because there's a couple things here I noticed that I wanted to show. So opening it with the remote works fine, but you get these arms that fold down into the trunk and can easily crush your luggage, which, okay, this is not an expensive car. These are around $26,000, $27,000 in this trim range. So there's only so many amazing things that you can get for that. But that is something that the competition has changed and something that a lot of other cars have. Just something that you don't have to worry about your luggage being crushed. The other thing I noticed are these nylon pull straps that you can use to put the rear seat down, which again is a cost-cutting measure, and they work fine. The funny thing is, if this were a Porsche, these would probably cost $50,000 extra, and you'd use them as door handles. So I'm going to test out the CVT transmission now, which will probably make just a droning noise as it only has one gear as I accelerate onto the highway here. Let's see. So it has some fake gears. It's a 1-speed chain-driven transmission, but it still holds it in the gear for a lot longer than you would expect, and it's just 60 miles an hour now. While it gets up to speed fairly quickly, that is not an enthusiast's transmission. I've never seen a car do this when just turning the lights on that was of the modern era. I've seen it happen when you turn air conditioning on, but this is what happens when you turn the headlights on in the 2018 Altima. So something that this car has that is kind of unusual nowadays. Most cars are going to electronic parking brakes in the center console or have more of a sporting pretense and have a handbrake. This car actually has a push-on, push-off parking brake like a Cadillac from the 1980s. It works fine. It unfortunately is the third pedal. I wish the third pedal was connected to a clutch, but hey, that's something different you don't see every day anymore. As this is the SL model, it comes with a lot of features that would be optional or not available on lower models. One thing is the comfort access, as I would call it, where you just press this button and you lock or unlock the doors, as opposed to other cars where you might have an exterior sensor to lock, and then when you put your hand on the inside to unlock. You always know that by pressing that button, one of those features is going to be activated. It's just a nice way of simplifying the process. You also can see it very easily. You don't have to look for little ridges molded in the plastic, which is great if it's snowing or icy or something like that. This, of course, is just 15 feet of car, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. It's a car. It's a car for people who just want a car. It's a nice car. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a car. It's not an emotional purchase. It's just someone who wants a 4-door sedan, but they want to have heated seats and a heated steering wheel. And you can get both of those features in this model. They come standard in it. But again, not an emotional purchase, just I need a white good. So when my buddy got this, we all thought this was a Maxima. And it really does look like a Maxima, and that's not a bad thing. The Maxima is a fantastic car. It's the top of the line Nissan sedan, but we really thought this was a Maxima. They've styled it specifically to look like that. However, it does still, in my opinion, just look like a car. And that's shown in these AAA ads I see on YouTube all the time, where they have a generic guy sitting in a generic car, and it's a base model Altima. So I set the seat to my driving position, and I'm about 6'2", and this is the legroom that I have, which is basically none. But what's even worse is if I sit upright, I have no headroom either. My hair, or whatever hair I have up there, is actually touching the roof, and if we went over a bump in this car, I would not be a very happy camper. So the back seat, despite being a fairly large car, is just really not adequate for anyone over 6 feet tall. And there's something to keep in mind, that there are cars with more traditional roof lines that might be good to look at if you think you're going to be carrying passengers of my height or taller people at any time. So that was the 2018 Nissan Altima SL. It's a perfectly fine car, but on the binary scale, it gets a 0. It's not an emotional purchase for me. It's a front-wheel drive car, which is something that I just don't care for, and they're a dime a dozen, so it gets a 0, unfortunately. It has nothing to do with the bird dirt on the car. I think that could probably be scrubbed off. I don't know. We'll let Enterprise deal with that. Thanks for watching.